The sun was barely up when he arrived at work, coffee in hand. By noon, he'd saved a coworker's life after a machinery accident. But when the company's Employee of the Month award was announced, his name wasn't even mentioned. Instead, it went to someone who hadn't even been there. What followed revealed how deep favoritism and discrimination ran in that factory. Black worker saved a life at work. The company's response was unforgivable. Comment your city if. You're watching. Marcus Bennett had worked at the Riverside manufacturing plant for 7 years. Known for his punctuality and skill, he was the guy everyone called when something went wrong. On a hot July afternoon, the plant floor buzzed with activity. Machines whirring, forklifts moving crates, fans struggling to push the heavy air. Marcus was inspecting a conveyor belt when a piercing scream cut through the noise. A worker's arm had been pulled into a malfunctioning press. Without thinking, Marcus sprinted over, hit the emergency stop, and freed the man's arm before paramedics arrived. The injured coworker kept saying, "You saved my life." The plant supervisor patted Marcus on the back, promising recognition. That promise planted hope, a hope that would soon turn bitter. In the days after the accident, Marcus noticed whispers and side glances in the break room. He tried to ignore them, focusing on his work. But when the Employee of the Month ceremony rolled around, his stomach tightened. He stood in the back expecting to hear his name. The plant manager took the mic, smiling at the crowd. "This month's award goes to someone who embodies our company values." The name that followed wasn't his. Instead, it was a white coworker who had been on vacation the day of the accident. Applause erupted, but Marcus felt like the room had gone silent. Afterward, he approached the manager privately. "Sir, I thought—" The manager cut him off. "Marcus, you're a good worker, but you know how these things go. Sometimes we spread recognition around." Marcus knew exactly what that meant. He'd seen it before. Hard work ignored. Accomplishments dismissed, contributions erased. When he later learned that his coworker had received a bonus with the award, the sting turned into anger. Marcus decided he couldn't stay silent. He filed a complaint with HR, detailing the incident and the company's response. A week later, HR called him in, not to address the discrimination, but to warn him about his attitude. The message was clear: stop talking or risk your job. That night, Marcus sat at his kitchen table, staring at the award he'd never received, thinking about the times he'd covered shifts, trained new hires, and gone above and beyond. Saving a life hadn't been enough. He realized this wasn't just about him. It was about every worker who'd been unseen and undervalued because of the color of their skin. Marcus eventually left Riverside Manufacturing, finding work at a smaller family-owned company where his skills were respected. Months later, he heard the coworker he'd saved had quit too, disgusted by how the company had treated Marcus. That man later testified in a discrimination investigation, which forced Riverside to change its award policies. Marcus knew change was slow, but it mattered. He'd turned his anger into action, refusing to let them rewrite the story. As he drove home from his new job, he thought about one thing: recognition should be earned, not given based on prejudice.